Sir, I have a question.
Hmm.
Shivananda, all the scriptures are one or the other chandas or meter. Which one is Shivananda Lahari?
It's a mix of several meters actually.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So for convenience in chanting, we are sticking to one particular
Type.
meter, let's say.
Okay, okay.
But when you go, properly, it is a mix of few meters. I will explain the next class. Okay.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Saundara Lahari is relatively easy. This is slightly.
We were discussing that, Anuradha and I, and she is of the opinion, and I think she's right, that uh, Sri Shankaracharya's compositions are usually quite complex with multiple meanings for the same word and
Yeah.
interpretation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
But they are really beautiful. Literary value is excellent and meant for all ages, right? So sometimes for children, sometimes for adults, sometimes for very mature people. So, okay, we'll get started.
so
Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Gajanana Padmarkam Gajanana Maharnisham Anekadantam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahe Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamaropini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhir Me Sadha Sri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha Gurave Sarvalokanam Bishade Bavaroginam Nidaye Sarvavidyanam Sri दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुविष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः अस्मत्श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तं वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अपारकरुणासिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम् ॐ इक्षुकोदण्डपुष्पेषु पाशाङ्कुशलसत्कराम् उद्यत्सूर्यनिभां वन्दे श्रीमत्त्रिपुरसुन्दरीं विश्वकारणनेत्राढ्यां श्रीमत्त्रिपुरसुन्दरीं बन्धकासुरसंहर्त्रीं कामाक्षीं तामहं भजे स्वर्णाङ्गीं रत्नभूषाढ्यां सुखहस्तां शुचिस्मितां काञ्चीनिवासिनीं वन्दे कामाक्षीं कामितार्थदाम् So we will start today. We'll, like as usual, we'll have a quick warm up starting with slokas 20. We have finished up to 30, I think, right? We have finished up to 30. We'll go back and read from 26 onwards, a few slokas, right? कदा वा त्वां दृष्ट्वा गिरिश तव भव्याङ्घ्रियुगलम् गृहीत्वा हस्ताभ्यां शिरसि नयने वक्षसि वहन् समाश्लिष्याग्राय स्फुटजलजगन्धान् परिमलान् अलभ्यां ब्रह्माद्यैः मुदमनुभविष्यामि हृदये करस्ते हेमाद्रौ गिरिशनिकटस्ते दनपतौ गृहस्थे स्वर्पूजाम् अमरसुरभिर्चिन्तामणिगणे शिरस्ते शीतांशौ चरणयुगलस्ते किल शुभे कमर्थं दास्येऽहम् भवदर्थं मम मनः सारूप्यं तव पूजने शिवमहादेवेति सङ्कीर्तने सामीप्यं शिवभक्तिदुर्जनथा साङ्गत्यसम्भाषणे सालोक्यं च सराचरात्मकतनुं ध्याने भवानीपते सायुज्यं मम सिद्धमत्र भवति स्वामिन् कृतार्थोच्यम्यहम् त्वत्पादाम्बुजमर्चयामि परमं त्वां चिन्तयामन्वहम् त्वामीशं शरणं व्रजामि वचसा त्वामेव याचे विभो वीक्षां मे दिशसाकृषीं सकरुणां दिव्यैश्चिरं प्रार्थिताम् शम्भो लोकगुरो मदीयमनसः सौख्योपदेशं कुरु वस्त्रोद्धूतविधौ सहस्रकरतां पुष्पार्चने विष्णुता गन्धे गन्धवहात्मदान्नपचने बर्हिर्मुखाध्यक्षता पात्रे काञ्चनगर्भदास्तिमयि चेत् बालेन्दुचूडामणे शुश्रूषां करवाणि ते पशुपते स्वामिन् त्रिलोकी गुरो. So we have completed up to that 30 slokas. I sent you the recording for the first 20 slokas, hoping that you will be practicing. So if you have not practiced last week because of Deepavali and all those festivities, it's fine. We'll continue with the few slokas today. And then you can be in the next class. We will do the practice for all the 30 shlokas, provided you all practice nicely and come. Okay, right. So today is 31st shloka. Nalam va paramopakaramidam tvekam pashunam pate pashyan gutshigatan characharaгаnan बाह्यस्थितान् रक्षितुम् सर्वामर्त्यपलायनौषधमिति ज्वालाकरं भीकरम् this printout is a little bit ज्वालाकरं भीकरं निक्षिप्तं गरलं गलेन गलितं नोद्गीर्णमेव त्वया नालं वा परमोपकारकमिदं त्वेकं पशूनां पते पश्यन् कुक्षिगतान् चराचरगणान् बाह्यस्थितान् रक्षितुम् सर्वामर्त्यपलायनौषधमदिं ज्वालाकरं भीकरं निक्षिप्तं गरलं गलेन गलितं नोद्गीर्णमेव त्वया. And 31 and 32 are kind of connected. So the interpretations will be somewhat common, and the explanations are better understood when we do both of them together. Okay. ज्वालोग्र सकलामरातिभयद क्वैल कथं पुगात्वयां दृष्ट किञ्च करैधृत करतले किं पक्वजम्बूफलम् जिह्वायां निहतश्च सिद्धघटिका वा कण्ठदेशे मृत किं ते नीलमणिर्विभूषणमयं शम्भो महात्मन् वद. So this 31 and 32. 31 is how Parameshwara is very benevolent, very kind, full of karunyam, how he came to the protection of the world when the poison was emitted from the snake Vashiki. So that is 31, and 32 is continuation of the description of 31. Okay, so the before we in order to understand this 31 better and 32 better, for those of you who we might have heard the story of Samudra Manthanam, which is in various scriptures, various Puranas, it is described. The one we will take as reference for our discussion will be, we will take it from Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam, Ashtamaskandam, the seventh adhyaya describes in great detail this particular portion of how the devas and all the beings were very much scared of the poison that was being emitted from Vashaki, and how Parameshwara came to their rescue. And there are specific and direct references in that chapter to what is being described in these two slokas. Okay, so in particular, when you go in we all know the general scheme of this Samudra Manthanam. So the Devas and Asuras came together. They decided to churn the ocean, and they took the snake and they took the Mandara mountain as the the math, and then they started, they tried to churn the ocean. The Asuras said they wanted to get hold of the head portion of the snake, and the Devas, under the instruction from the Lord, they took this tail portion, and then they started churning, and it was so heavy that the mountain started sinking into the ocean. And then Mahavishnu, he went to as a crocodile to the bottom of the ocean, and he held the mountain on his back, and the mountain was held steady there. And then they continued to churn, and when they continued to churn, the first thing that came out was the hala hala poison. The poison came out from the snake. That is the description. So that poison, the how bad it was. So it was very intense, very hot, very fiery, and so the devas and asuras, all of them were very scared of very scared of that poison that was getting emitted, and they could not they could not bear the heat that was coming out of as a result of that poison. And so Bhagavatam describes it. The words that are used in Bhagavatam will come handy as we start describing the this verse 31. So that it goes like this. Tadugravekam dishi dishi uparyadho visarbad ustar utsarbad sahasrama prathi bītāha prajadudru angasheshwara arakshyamanaha sharanam sadashivam. So tad ugravegam dishi dishi dishar tadugradevum sarvegam dishi dishi uparyadho visarbad ussarpad sahapramadi. So the poison, the intensity of the poison that came, ugra vegam. So it was so fierce, and it was very, very potent poison that came out of the mouth of the snake. And then dishi mean it emitted the poison in all directions. Dishi uparyado means upward, other head downward also. So in all directions, upward, downward, east, west, in all directions, it started emitting that poison. And as a result of that emission of that poison, so asahyam means it became very unbearable. Asahyam, aprati is very uncontrollable. So they could not stop it also. So asahyam, aprati, bītāha. So they became very, very scared. And then prajaha dudruvuhu. So all the residents, both the devas and asuras and all the residents of all the worlds, they ran. So they ran to Parameshwara, and is it arakshyamanaha. So they got so scared, and so in order to get protected from the snake's poison, they went to Parameshwara, and they surrendered at his feet. That is how the Bhagavatam describes the intensity of the poison that came out. And then what Parameshwara did, so there are about 12 or 13 slokas which describe the way they prayed, like in Devi Mahatmya and in other places. So they described that, hey Parameshwara, you are the only one who can protect us. And then so Parameshwara sees to, just can I take this call? Give me a minute. Hello? Hmm. So Parameshwara took pity on the whole world, and then he decided that he should do something about it, and so he went to Ambar, and he says tad vikshya vesanam tasam kripaya vrishabhiditah sarvabhuta suhrud eva idamaha satim priyam. So the one who is very kind, and he wanted to protect the world, and in order to protect the world he started talking to Amba, and he said aho bata bhavan yeta prajanam pasya vaishasam kshiroda madanodbhutat kala gotad upastitam asam prana pripsunam videyim abhayam hime etavan hi pramorarthe yadhina paripalanam. So he says that it is his duty, because they have come and surrendered to him. Therefore, it becomes his duty to protect them, and he needs to do something. But he realizes that it is, even though it is going to cause harm to him, he feels that it is his duty to protect him, protect the whole world. So then it just go. Tells Amar that he will consume that poison. And according to Bhagavatam, Ambal knows that nothing will happen to Parameshwara, because he will do only what is right for the world and for so he nothing he will she permits him to go and consume that poison. So evaman mantra bhagavan bhavanim vishwa bhavanah tad visham jagmuhu arobe prabhavat jnan amodata means she permitted him tata karatali kritya vapi hala halam visham abhakshan mahadeva Kripaya Bhuta Bhavanah. So in order to protect the whole world, see, he took the poison, and he took it in his hand, and he swallowed that poison. So that something good will happen to the world. And then Tashyapi Darshayamasa Swaviryam Jalakalmashah Yachakara Gale Neelam Tacha Sadho Vibhushanam. So that poison, according to Bhagavatam, that poison, Yachagare Gale Neelam Tacha Sadhor Vibhushanam. So the poison went and stayed in the throat of Parameshwara, and it made a black ring-like thing around his neck, and as a result, it appeared as though he is wearing some kind of a necklace around that neck, which is a dark one. So, Tachas Sadhor Vibhushanam, it made his neck even more beautiful. So that is what Bhagavatam says. The next sloka says, Tapyante lokatapene sadhava prayasho janaha paramaradhanam tadvi purushasyakilatmanah tabyantu lokatapene prayachas sadhavo janaha paramaradhanam datti purushasya akilatmanah. Which means, in order to protect the whole world, in order to protect the whole world, even though it could have caused difficulties or danger to his own life, he took that poison, and that is why that is a character that people should exhibit in their lives. That is, in order to protect the other people. So if you do something to help the others, it that becomes the bhakti that you show towards the Parameshwara. That is what this 43 and 44 sloka. Tasyapi darshayamasa swavirinjalakalmashaya yachakare galeninam tacha sadhor vibhushanam तप्यन्ते लोकतापेन साधवप्रायशो जनाः परमाराधनं ददति पुरुषस्याखिलात्मनः. So these slokas, this is the background. With this background, if we now look at the sloka 31, so नालं वा परमोपकारमिदं त्वेकं पशूनां पदे पश्यन् कुक्षिगतान् चराचरगणान् बाह्यस्थितान् रक्षितुम्. So the what it says is Kutshikaran characharaganam bahyasthitan rakshitam. So in his stomach. So there are in Parameshwara, he is represents the universe itself. So he is Vishwambaram, right? So it is assumed that inside his stomach there are so many creatures. Kutshika means in the stomach. So inside his body there are so many living beings, and Bahyastithan, outside his body also, in the entire universe, there are so many living beings. In order to protect all them, in order to ensure the protection of all of them, Sarva Amartya Palayana Aushadam, Sarva Amartya Palayana Aushadam, Adijwala Akaram Bhikaram. So that poison, that Aushadam is which is the poison. Aushadam is not poison. In this case, the Aushadam refers to that poison. The Aushadam, what type of Aushadam? Sarva Amartya Palayana. That is all the devas who were holding that snake, they Sarva Amartya Palayana. They left the snake. Palayana means to run away, to flee from a particular place. And yes, in order to escape. Sarva Amartya Palayana. So those people who are trying to run away, Sarva Amartya Palayana, Aushadam, and that Aushadam was in, what was the other one? Ati Jwalakaram. So it was very fiery. It was emitting fire. And then Bhikaram, it was causing fear. So here in the Bhagavatam we said Bhitaha, like that it was creating fear in everybody who was holding that snake. So Sarvamartya Palayana Aushadam Adijwalakaram Bhisharam. What did he do? He did Nikshiptam Karalam. Karalam means poison. Nikshiptam is he took that poison and he swallowed it. And then what did he do? He did not swallow it also. He did not spit it out also. He just held it in his throat. That is the way Sivananda Lahari describes. So he describes the way he describes it. It's an intentional act on the part of Shiva not to spit it and just hold it in his throat. Nikshiptam Karalam. Nikshiptam means to just hold it, to hold it and deposit it in his throat. Nikshiptam Karalam Galena. Galena means in his throat. Na Gilitam. Gilitam means to swallow. Na Gilitam no Udgirnam eva. Gilitam means to swallow. Udgirna means to spit it out. So if he swallowed it, it will cause danger to the beings inside, which is the Kutshigatan Characharaganan. If we spat it out, the poison will cause destruction to the people who are outside, Bhahyasthitan. So, not to cause any danger to himself and to everything that is inside him, and not to cause any danger to any the living beings outside in the whole universe. Gale na gelitam na udgirnam evatvaya. So this is what Parameshwara did. So in this way, whatever he did was Parama Upakaram Idam. Parama Upakaram. He did a great service to the whole world. Parama Upakaram Idam Tvekam Pashunam Pate. Idam tu Ekam Pashunam Pate. That this act that you did, hey Parameshwara, which is the act of holding the poison in your throat, idam tu ekam, this particular act of nikshipdam is Pashunam Pate, Parama Upokaram. So for the entire universe, it is a great help, whatever ye have done. What na alamva, other than this, what other help that you can do to the whole world? Na alamva paramopakaram midam tvekam pashunam pate. Okay, so the act of by holding the poison in his throat, he protected the whole world from destruction. That is what he says in this verse 31. Nalam va paramopakaramidam tvekam pashunam pade pashyan kutshigatan characharaganan bahyasthitan rakshitam sarvamartya palayanaushadam atijwalakaram bhinkaram Nikshiptam Garalam Kalena Gilitam Nirnam Yevatvaya. So Nikshiptam is, as I said, to hold it back. Garalam is the poison. Gale is the throat. Garalam Galena Galena Gale na Gilitam, not swallowed, without swallowing. Na Udgirnam, without spitting it out. Eva Tvaya by yourself. This was held back. So, what kind of poison? The poison which is Sarva Amartya Palayana Aushadam Ati Jwala Karam Bhishanam. Sarva Amartya Palayana Aushadam Ati Jwala Karam Bhishanam. Bhikaram. So, the one that creates fear in everybody. Then, any other word there? Pashyan Pekam Pashunam Pate Kutshigatan Characharaganan Bhahyastitan Rakshitam. So, that is the description of Shloka 31. Nalam va paramopakaram yadam tvekam pashunam pate pashyan kuchigatan characharaganam bhashyastitan rakshitum sarvamartya palayanaushadam adibjwalakaram bhikaram nikshiptam garanam galena gilitam nodgeetam eva tvaya. Okay, so that is 31. So continuing on the same theme, 32.
Mama బాహ్యస్థితాన్ని ఎన్ని చున్నారు mama.
Outside, bahirna outside anartham. Bahya sthitan would be living beings outside Parameshwara's stomach. That means the whole universe.
And
Bahya.
chara gananna moving and immoving,
Exactly,
immobile.
exactly.
Okay.
Okay, okay. So continuing on the same theme, 32. What does its name? 32. Jwalograha, Jwalograha, Jwalogra sorry, Jwalogra Sakala Amarati Bhayada, Trailam Katam Patvaya, Drishtakim Chakare Dhritakartale, Kimpakpajambu Palam, Jikfayam Nitaswa Siddha Gudika, Vakanta Deshe Bhrata. Kim te Neelamani Vibhushanamayan Shambho Mahatman Vada. So the important thing to talk about here is Kim te Neelamani Vibhushanamayam Shambho Mahatman Vada. Hey Parameshwara, that poison which you held in your throat, sorry, in your throat, it was like a bhushanam. Bhushanam means an ornament that you are wearing on your neck, which is what the which sorry Bhagavatam that I read out it. So that sloka was what was the sloka? That sloka was it? Tashyami darshayamasa suviryam echakara gale neelam tachas sadho vibhushanam. So that is Bhagavatam. So that theme he is taking and he is saying here, Kimte Neelamani Vibhushanamayam Shambho Mahatman Vada He Parameshwara Shambho He Parameshwara He Swamin Mahatman Vada Mahatman He Mahatma is Parameshwara is a Mahatma, right? Vada means please tell me. So Mahatma said this one Kim Te Neelamani Vibhushanamayam. So was it your intention to wear that poison as an ornament around your throat? Please tell me. So Kinte means was it, is it so like that? Kinte sorry, Vibhushanamayam, in order to have a decoration, in order to have an ornament around your neck, did you consume that poison? So what kind of poison? Here he is describing that poison as follow. Jwalogram, Jwalogra, Sakala Amara, Adhibhayadaha, which we described already, right? We described in the previous sloka itself. Ati Jwala Karam Bikaram Sarvamartya Palayana Aushadam, like that we described in the 31st sloka. The same thing here he is in Jwala Ugraha, very fierce fire, fire. So Jwala Ugraha So the fire that was emitted was very hot and very intense. Jwalograha Sakala Amara Athibayadaha. Which caused a lot of fear in the minds of all the devas, because of which they ran to Parmeshwara and asked for his protection. So Jwalogra Sakala Amara Athibayadaha. Trailer means poison. So that poison, trailer means poison, the poison which was causing fear to all the devas. Okay, so one day, which was very fiery, that poison, katham va tvaya drishtah, how did you, in what form take it, hey Parameshwara, katham va tvaya drishtah, what did you think that fire was? Okay, so then he gives two or three example. The first one, kimcha karedrita. You took it in your hand. So the same thing was what Bhagavatam says. So he said, how did you take that poison in your hand? Because it was very hot. It was poisonous, and it was nobody could. People were running away from that poison. However, you took it in your hand as though you were consuming a fruit. So, kinchak kare dhritam. What courage did you have to go and take that poison in your hand? Number two, then he says, Karatale Kim Pakpa Jambu. Did you think it's some kind of a sweet fruit? Jambu Phalam is in what do you call we call it Nellikai. So that Jambu Phalam. So Kim Pakwa Jambu Phalam. Did you think it's some kind of a very tasty fruit? Okay, Kim Pakwa means very mature, very ripe. Kim Pakwa Jambu Phalam. So thinking, did you think it is some kind of a fruit, and therefore you took it in your hand? Then Jikhvayam Nihitascha. So Jikhva means tongue. So how did you take it? You put it in your mouth also. Jikhvayam Nihitascha. Jikhvayam Nihitascha. Nihitascha means you put it in your mouth. So therefore it is your tongue consumed that one. Jipvayam nihitascha siddha gudikava. Is there some, did you think it is some kind of a siddha medicine? Gudika means in Tamil we say gulika. Some kind of a, lehium, let us say, or tablet, let us say. Siddha gudikava. Did you think that is some kind of a siddha medicine, so that you have to just put it in your mouth and swallow it? Siddha Gudikava, Jikhvayam Nihitascha Siddha Gudikava. And then Kanta Deshe Britaha. And you took it and you swallowed it, and he not only swallowed it, but you held it back in your throat, right? So you did not completely swallow it. Kanta Deshe Britha. So you just stopped it in your neck itself. So Kantadeshe Britha. What was the purpose? What did you have in your mind? I am means this poison, the te for you, Neelamani Vibhushanam. Did you want to stop it in your throat for the purpose of wearing that poison as an ornament in your throat? Kimte Neelamani Vibhushanam Mahatman Vada. Hey, please explain to me, was that your intention? So in the first one, he says in the sloka 31, he says, by consuming that poison, and by holding it back in your throat, you did a great service to the whole universe. In the second one, he says, maybe it was your intention to hold it in your throat. The act of holding it in your throat was with the purpose of wearing it as an ornament in your neck. So that you see, so Kinte Neelamani Vibhushanamayam Shambho Mahatman Vada. So it is closely following that sorry, so Bhagavatam, so the way it was described in Bhagavatam. Okay, so Jwalogra Sakalamrati Bhayadam Velakatam Vatvaya Dishtakim Chakare Dhritakardale Kim Pakva Jambu Palam Jihvayam Nihetascha Siddha Gutikava Kanta Deshe Brataham Kim Te Neelamani Vibhushanamayan Shambho Mahatman Vada. So, any words that you have doubt on, Ramani? Jwalogra, Jwala, Ugra, Sakala, Amara, Atibayadaha. So that's very clear on the face of it. Trela is the poison. Katamba, how? Tvaya, drishtaha. Or how did you perceive that? How did you perceive that poison to be? What? Kim chakkare dritaha. Why did you take it in your hand and why did you put it in your throat? Kim chakkare dritaha. Karakhare drita karadhale. Kim pakva jambu palam. Did you think it is some kind of a fruit? Jihvayam nihitascha. So with that purpose, you put it into then Siddha Gutika, did you think it is some kind of a medicine? Then why did you hold it back in your throat? Vakanta Deshe Brataham Kinte Neelamani Vibhushanamayam Shambho Mahatman Vada. So both slokas together describe Parameswara as a Karunya Murti who is always kind to the whole world and who has got the protection of the whole world as his intention. In particular, when the Devas have come to him and they have taken Sharanam under him, he felt it was his duty to protect them, and accordingly, he consumed the poison and held it in his throat. Okay, so Nalamba Paramopakaramidam Tvekam Pashunam Pate Pashyan Kuchigatan Characharaganan Bhashyastitan Rakshitum सर्वामर्त्यपलायनौषधम् अतिज्वालाकरं भीकरं निक्षिप्तं गरलं गलेन गिलितं नोद्गीतमेव त्वया ज्वालोग्रसकलामरादिभयद क्षेलकतं वा त्वया दृष्टः किं च करे धृतकरतले किं पक्वजम्बूफलम् जिह्वायां निहितश्च सिद्धगुडिका वा कण्ठदेशे भृतः किं ते नीलमणिविभूषणमयं शम्भो महात्मन् वद. So that is 31 and 32 slokas. So 33 is what? 33 is okay. 33 it describes that the greatness of bhakti is described in 33. Okay. Nalam va sagrudeva deva bhavat seva natirvanutihi puja va smaranam katha shravanamapi alokanam स्वामिन् अस्थिरदेवता अनुसरणायासीन किं लभ्यते का वा मुक्तिरिद्धकृतो भवति चेत् किं प्रार्थनीयं तदा. So what in general what he says is people do worship to the Lord in several ways. Okay, some people, so what he describes all kinds of the ways in which the prayers are offered to Parameshwara or to any god. And then he says there's no point in offering prayers to Astira Devatan Anusarana Ayasena. So there's no point in offering prayers to all these little devatas when all that one has to do is to show bhakti towards you. And if one shows bhakti towards you, then automatically that act of intense devotion towards you, Parameshwara, it becomes the clear and direct path to obtaining mukti, moksham, and nothing else is required other than that bhakti towards you. That's what he says in this shloka 33. Nalamba. So we'll go through it. We'll take it this phrase by phrase. So then it will become clear. Okay. Hey, first line. Hey, Deva is Parameshwara. So, Hey, Deva, Bhavata, Shiva, Nutirva, Shiva, then Natirva, Nutirva, Pujava, Smaranam Katashravanam va Alokanam va Drusham. So what are the various ways he is describing? Bhavataha means to you Parameshwara, Bhavataha. Shiva, Shiva is we say like previously also I have described the stages of doing bhakti. So the Shariya, Kriya, Yogam, Jnanam and like that. So Shariya is not directly doing bhakti but doing various acts of doing service in the temple, doing like making flower garlands or helping in the kitchen or doing any kind of work in the temple. So that is also Sheva. So Sheva, Bhavatah, Sheva. Then second one, Natirva, Nathanam is the act Natha means to do namaskarams, prostrations, just falling at Parameshwara's feet, and so Charanam, Sharanam, Pravadhi like that. So that act of falling at the feet and doing namaskaram is nadirva. So Sheva, Natirva, and the third one is Nutirva. Nutirva means offering stutis, saying slokas. So say slokas and various other forms of worship or doing archanas and whatnot. They are all offering stutis, right? So Sheva, Natirva, Nutirva, and then the third one is Pujava, that everybody understands, offering pujas. Then Smaranamva, Smaranam is thinking about God's name, doing japas, doing meditation, put all that. So Smaranamva, and then Kathashravanamva. Kathashravanam is listening to the stories of Parameshwara, listening to the stories of the Leelas of the Lord. So when we do Lalita Upakyanam or Bhagavatam, they are Kathashravanam. So we just listen to the greatness of the Lord as demonstrated through various leelas. So Kathashravanamba. So Seva, Natirva, Nutirva, Pujava, Smaranamba, Kathashravanamba, Kathashravan api means all these methods. And finally, Alokanamba. Alokanam is going to the temple and looking at the statue which is there, which beautifully decorated, and then you are offering prayers there. So there you think that you have got the darshan of the Lord, and accordingly you offer prayers. So that is alokanam. So Sheva, Natirva, Nutirva, Puja va, Smaranam va, Kathashravanam api, Alokanam madrisham. For ordinary people, madrisham means people like me, people who are very ordinary, people who don't know much about how to do bhakti to Parameshwara, bhakti to the Lord. So all ordinary people like me. So Bhavata Shiva De Deva. So Deva Bhavata Shiva Natirva Nutirva Puja Va Smaranam Va Katha Shravanam Va Vapi Alokanamadrasham. So what is this way we are offering bhakti to you. So this bhakti itself is enough. There is nothing else required. Na alamva, first one. Na alamva means is this not enough? Is this not enough to obtain mukti moksham? Na alamva sadkradyeva bhavat sadkradyeva sadkradmeva means the good things that we do. So that we with good intention we do the bhakti. That is enough to obtain the mukti. That's what the first two lines establish. Then what he says, Swamin means Parameshwara, hey Lord. Asthira Devatan means not the Parameshwara himself, but all the little devatas, for people say go and do some thing to this devata, you will be rid of this trouble, that trouble, and all that. That is what is there. Astira devata, astira devatam, astira devatan, anusaranam, going after those little devatas. Okay, ayasena kim labhyate. So, do we really get the mukti or moksham by following those little devatas? Truly not. So that's what Sadi Shankara says. Swamin astira devatan anusaranan ayasena. Ayasena means the great effort doing all those shantis and yoga homas and whatnot. Kim lab ayasena kim labhyase. What is the benefit that one gets? Not much. I will not say no benefit, but not much. So ayasena kim labhyate. का वा भुविधिरिधः कुतो भवति चेत् किं प्रार्थनीयं तदा. So if I can obtain, so now he is going back to the first one, by doing bhakti unto you, if by doing bhakti unto you in a very sincere way, kuta bhavati chet means, but chet means if one can obtain mukti. He is first establishing that that is the proper way, nalamba, nothing else is required, and then he says, if it is true that I can obtain mukti by doing this bhakti towards you, kuta bhavati chet tata kim prarthaniyam. What else do I require? Everybody's motivation is to obtain moksham, and it is established, and I'm convinced that by doing bhakti to you in a very sincere way, in whatever form that bhakti is offered, that is definitely enough. Then there is nothing else required to obtain the mukti. So hence the point that he wants to establish is that sincere bhakti alone is enough to obtain moksham, and nothing else is required. Okay, so nothing by going after these other methods in order to obtain some immediate benefit is not really recommended. Okay, and what it says, so, astira devathan anusarana ayasena kim labhyase. There is no great benefit. That is not the way to moksham. The only way to moksham is to follow Parameshwara and offer sincere bhakti towards him in whatever form that you choose. That is the slokam. Nalang vasakradeva deva bhavata seva natirva natihi puja va smaranam katha shravanamapi आलोकनम मादृशाम स्वामिन्नस्तिरदेवताननुसरण आयासीन किं लभ्यते का वा मुक्तिरितः कुतो भवति चेत् किं प्रार्थनीयं तदा. So this one, this shloka 33 is also established in Bhagavatam, is also established. I mean, you will see similar references in Bhagavad Gita. You will see similar references in Narayaniam also. So in Narayaniam, what does he say? Because even Bhagavad Gita, the way they take is there is this Karma Yoga, then Jnana Yoga, then Sannyasa Yoga, and then he eventually they also go to the ninth or 10th chapter. He will establish that the most important thing that you have to have is intense belief and devotion to Krishna, and that is the only way you will get true moksham. So this chapter 9, yes, exactly, this chapter 9, Raja Vidya Raja Kushi Yogam. Yepi anya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayan tebi mameva kaundeya yajantat vidipurvakam. So te ye api anya devata bhakta. So instead of worshipping me, why are they worshipping all these little devatas? Ye pyanya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayan vidha. So they do the worship to that those devatas with whatever shraddha, whatever prescription that they have been getting, and then tepi mameva kaunteya yajanti yajanti abhidhi purvakam. So that is not what is prescribed for getting the moksham. So therefore, that they in some form eventually, okay, in some form eventually that worship indirectly comes to me only. So instead of doing all those other forms of worship, one should worship me directly. Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhurev cha natu mamapi jananti tatvenasvavantite. So please realize, aham hi sarva yajnanam. So I am the one, all the akasat pati sandhyavandanam we say akasat patitam toyam yada gacchati sagaram sarvadeva namastubhyam keshavam prati gacchati. So whatever prayers you offer to anybody, any kind of devata, eventually goes to Keshava, Narayana only. In what way? Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram. So the rain that falls from the sky, what happens? It flows in the form of various rivers in various ways. But eventually all the rivers, they all go to one sea only. Yatha gacchati sagaram. They eventually reach the ocean only. So no other destination for them. Akasat patitam doyam, patitam toyam, yatha gacchati sagaram, sarvadeva namastavam, keshavam pratigacchati. Everything that any prayer that you offer to anybody eventually goes to Keshava only. In the same way, aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha natu mamapi jananti tatvenasyavanti te. So whoever, so without realizing, na abhijananti, without really knowing that this is the truth, those people tatvena ashyavanti, they go and pray to the other gods. This is all yanti deva. So what happens to them? Yanti deva pratha devan pitrun yanti pitruvratah bhutani yanti bhudeja yanti madhyajana vivam. So the most important thing that Krishna establishes in this one is yanti mati madhyajana matyajina means whoever prays unto me. Those who pray to Krishna matyajina apimam. So they will reach me. So if you offer prayers to Krishna, you get the moksham, you get accepted by him. Yanti Devavrata Devan Pitrun Yanti Pitruvrata. So if you go and offer your prayers to that Devata, you will get whatever you need to get only from the Devata that he says. So you are accepted by that Devata. Yanti Devavrata Devan Pitrun Yanti Pitruvrata Bhutan Yati Bodheja. So if you offer prayers to the Bhutaganas, then you will get the Bhutaganas only. So therefore, one should offer prayers to Krishna only. That is the Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yogam, that is chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita. The same concept here, but he says, Astira Devatan Anusarana Ayasena Kim Lapsyase. There's no use by in offering prayers to those little devatas. So one should offer prayer directly to Parameshwara. That is the line 3 and 4. The line 1 and 2, I was talking about Narayaniam, right? Narayaniam, chapter 2, what it is the greatness of bhakti. So, the greatness of bhakti, what is it? Tvat bhakti katara samudajari nirmajjanena swayam siddhyanti vyamala prabodha bhadavi akle satastanvati sadhya siddhigari jayatya vibho सेवास्तु मे त्वत्पद प्रेम प्रौढिरसादृदादृततरं वातालयादीश्वर Sadhya Siddhikari. Sadhya means immediately. Whatever you are asking for, you get it. Sadhya Siddhikari Jayatyayi Vibho. So they become successful in their endeavors. Jayatyayi Vibho Sevastu me tatpada prema praudirasadratha dridadharam. So they are accepted by Krishna, and they obtain moksha. That is what the Narayanam says. Nishkamam niyatasthadharmacharanam yat karma yoga vidam taddoretya palam yadopanishadam malobhavyam punah tattvavyaktataya sudurgamataram चित्तस्य तस्माद् विभो प्रेमात्मकभक्तिरेव सततं स्वादीयसी श्रेयसी. So the last line is very important. Tvat prematmaka bhaktireva satatam bhaktireva. So tvat prema atmaka. So in keeping showing your love and devotion towards Lord Krishna, tvat prema atmaka, keeping that devotion in your mind. Bhakti reva, only that kind of bhakti. Satatam, always you show that bhakti. Then swadi yasi shreyasi. That is the only way to moksham. That's what Narayanam says. The same concept is shown in Bhagavatam also. That's what he says. With bhakti, so true bhakti alone is enough for obtaining moksham. So nalamba sukurdeva bhavata seva natirvanuti. पूजा वा स्मरणं कदा श्रवणमपि आलोकनं मादृशाम् स्वामिन्नस्थिरदेवतान् अनुसरणायेष न किं लभ्यते का वा मुक्तिरितः कृतो भवति चेत् किं प्रार्थनीयं वद तदा. That is shloka 33. So we will continue with the 34 next class. But can you all please practice up to shloka 30? So that we can practice it in the next class. Okay. So 1 to 30 in the next class. I will try and record 21 to 30 also. And we will continue with, we will practice it in the next class. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Next.
Good.
Yeah. Sorry, Mama.
Thank you. Thanks, Mama.
Thanks, Mama.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Next
Thank
class.
you.
Okay.
Namaskaram,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, Mama.
Thank you.
Practice. Thank you, Mama.
Okay. Okay.